committed to nonviolence in the middle of the most violent society that history's ever created. I'm not committed to nonviolence in any way.
Man or woman who hates communism the most, that is to say, the man or woman who knows the least about communism, is the man or woman who wants to know the least about communism. That is to say, snakes are my enemies. They come to bite me, and I don't even want to know what they look like.
We're going to see about stopping, regardless of what these people think we should do. Because school is not important, and work is not important. Nothing's more important than stopping fascism, because fascism will stop us all.
Yo. Welcome to the Forest Podcast. This is Comrade Villain, and I'm here with Comrade Lab. And we've been gone for a minute, but we're back. What's up, bro?
What's going on?
Oh, man, just staying busy. That's why I don't really have a lot prepared for today.
Me either. Been real busy this week.
Well, shit, I feel you, man. I've been real busy with music. I don't know if anybody listens to the pod know, but I do music. Comrade Villain. A lot of new music about to come out. But we're still gonna do something for today because it's been too long and a lot of major shit has happened, like bombing Iran. The big beautiful bill just passed today.
Yep.
Both houses, it passed the House, which was Senate passed it first, right? Yeah. Do you know what's in it?
No, not really. I didn't look at it in detail. I mean, I just know what I've been hearing, like the sound bites.
Right.
But Medicaid cuts to
Medicare cuts too is what I was reading earlier today. Yeah, but I don't, because they sent it back and forth a couple times, didn't they? Because I know there was some kind of arguing, like there was a Senate holdout from like Rand Paul and some of those Republicans.
Yeah, I do remember. Here, Rand Paul was one of the holdouts.
And then in the House, I know there was. I don't remember what. Do you remember what the House Republicans were not liking?
I mean that it was gonna cut, some of social programs.
Really?
Yeah, because they live in poor districts. I mean, a lot of their constituencies are on welfare. I mean, they
it's
know
easier to
it.
cut it when you're a Senate representative for the whole state. But if
Right.
you live in your people in your district rely on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just did a little test, and I haven't read the results yet. The test is ChatGPT versus DeepSeek, and I asked them both to summarize what's in the bill. I gave them the link to the bill from congress.gov. And according to ChatGPT, permanently extends the 2017 individual income tax cuts, which will reduce revenue by about 4.6 trillion over 10 years. So it's probably not great. Increases, I'm going to guess most of those tax cuts aren't for poor people. I'm going to guess they're for the wealthy and upper middle class, but I'm just guessing. Who knows? Increases the state and local tax deduction cap. The salt tax, I don't know what that's about. You know about the salt tax?
Salt?
Yeah, it's something about like itemized deductions, I think.
Like the salt that you put on food?
State and local tax. That's what it stands for.
Oh, okay. It's an acronym.
Yeah. But I don't know. Introduces new deductions for tips, or new deduction for tips and overtime pay workers earning below 150K. Ain't no fucking. Okay, I guess. I don't know. You think a waiter working overtime is making 150K? Anyway, that's weird.
Depends on where you're.
I guess,
working,
if you're in Vegas, maybe. Yeah. But that's something I heard from just people in my life and conversation, that they know about the bill, is that it's gonna get rid of the tax on tipped wages. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I thought that was in something else that had already passed. Or
Oh, was it?
I can't remember for
Well,
sure.
the people are telling me that people are misinformed, but a lot of people think it's in this bill, and that might have something to do with what I just read right there. I'm not sure. debt ceiling and the deficit. It raises the statutory debt limit. Why do they call it statutory? I don't like that. Probably means not the same context or something different in this context. Employs reconciliation procedures to avoid a Senate filibuster as part of Congress's 2025 budget resolution. So they did. So what? They defanged the filibuster in the Senate. So Democrats can't be obstructionists, I guess, with their budget. Interesting. All this shit needs to be looked more into by me. Defense spending provides $150 billion in additional defense spending or defense funding. And it breaks it down. I don't care about breaking it down. Border security and immigration, approximately $170 billion to new border controls and enforcement. That's ICE. You see, he sent some Marines down here to Florida to help ICE.
No, I did not see that.
I saw that today, and then apparently they're only doing administrative work, which I don't know why you need to send Marines to do that, unless it's just like a propaganda thing. Like I sent some Marines down there to help ICE, for their base, or it's either that or it's like I want them down there in case something happens, so they're already there.
Right.
I don't know. It's gotta be weird to be a Marine right now. I mean, not really. If you're a Marine, you probably want to kill people. So you're probably already weird. Mandatory Medicaid work requirements and other social spending changes. Enforces an 80-hour a month work requirement for recipients aged 19 to 64. So if you want Medicaid and you're 19 to 64, you have to work at least 80 hours a month. So what's that, 2 weeks? 2 weeks a month. If you're doing a 40-hour-a-week job, that's probably going to kick a lot of people off Medicaid. And, a lot of people are on Medicaid because they don't have a job. So, all right. Cuts over $1.2 trillion in federal spending, primarily via repealing the National Education and Obesity Prevention Grant Program. What the fuck? Increasing state administrative cost shares for SNAP from 50% to 75%. So I guess SNAP was half funded by states and half funded by the government. Now he's put more on the states to fund it.
Which means it won't get funded.
SNAP, the
Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, is that what it means?
Yes, I thought that was a federal program, and I guess it is, but it's half funded by states. I know a lot of federal programs are like the state has to fund part of it. And so this is just pushing more of the funding onto the state. Like, you're going to have to pick up more of the bill, so that's going to save the federal government money. And states are probably just not going to cover it, so I'm guessing less people will get it. Because this is all I'm hearing from Democrats is this is terrible. It's going to kick so many people off Medicaid, off of SNAP, off of welfare programs. So this is how it's doing it, I guess. Student loans pauses Biden's student loan cancellation rule if schools misled students. What the fuck does that mean, ChatGPT? There's no source or anything. ChatGPT sucks. I can't wait to read DeepSeek's. Introduces a $257,000 lifetime borrowing cap. That's probably good. Probably shouldn't be borrowing that much to go to school. I guess doctors maybe. Shouldn't cost that much. Anyways.
Shouldn't cost anything.
Should be fucking free. Energy and land management requires quarterly onshore oil and gas lease sales. So the Bureau of Land Management, the other BLM, the original BLM, is going to be selling off federal property for drilling. That's what that means. Retract select appropriations from the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. I'm not going into that. Don't know what that means. Oversight, regulatory rollbacks, and agency changes. Halves funding for the CFPB, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So cut their funding. So that's not great. Consumers, that's everybody. Stops the ACA insurers from covering abortions. No more Obamacare for abortions. It's done. Except in cases of rape, incest, or dude, what was that? Remember that guy that they asked him about the rape exception, and he said something like he was Alabama or Mississippi, and
the one that says that your body has a way to shut all that down.
Shut that down. Dude, what was that guy's name?
I can't remember.
That was so fucking wild.
Yeah, it was wild.
Because I remember I read people say that like on the internet and like comments, like he was a fucking congressman, bro. Anyways, and establishes a $50 billion rural hospital fund, up from $25 billion, to offset the Medicaid cuts. Okay, so offset the Medicaid cuts in rural areas. So okay, this is specifically, I want to kick people off Medicaid in the city. If you get kicked off of Medicaid in a rural area, we set up this. Well, I guess it's already set up. We doubled this rural hospital fund to $50 billion to help you with I guess with an ER. Because that's their argument, right? You don't have to have it. You just go to the ER. No ER is allowed to fucking kick you out. So
it was Todd Aiken. Sorry, I was looking.
Todd Aiken. That's his fucking name.
Bothering me. Todd Aiken. That's the guy who said.
Fuck that guy. Has a body as a way to shut that thing down.
The rape.
Hold on, does it have the quote exactly? Roll the quote. Because the way he said it was like shut that whole thing down or something.
Yeah, I can't find the actual quote. These articles.
What?
Legitimate rape.
Yep.
Of course, New York Times has a paywall.
Put it on archive.today. Hey, everybody, real quick, pro tip. If you ever want to read an article that's behind a paywall, go to archive.today. That's the way to remember it. The actual URL changes from like archive.il, archive.ph, wherever they got to move it to. Go there, paste in the link, and then it archives it, and you can read the fucking article. I got to find this fucking quote now. Vamp self. Oh, here we go. I got it. See, ChatGPT is good for this. If it is a legitimate rape, the female body has ways to shut that whole thing down.
Yep.
Said shut that whole thing down. Anyways, all right, that was fucking stupid of him. But a lot of people still believe that. Actually, on the way here today, I saw somebody had the 10 Commandments sign in their yard that had never had it there before. So I bet that's one person that believes it, and they're getting bolder. The bird rule. What was the bird rule? Remember that? That sounds very familiar.
Yeah, it definitely sounds familiar, but no, I can't remember exactly what it
says it strips out its provisions, including pharmacy benefit manager restrictions, bans on adult Medicaid, gender-affirming care, no trans people, Pell Grant expansion to workforce programs. What? Pell Grant expand, whatever. Stricter undocumented immigrant health coverage rules. Can't be stealing our health care, you fucking immigrants. Pandemic tax credit adjustments. Pandemic tax credit adjustments. What? And certain defense micro programs. I don't know what the fuck that is. That does not remind me what the bird rule was. I just put what bird rule. The bird rule is a procedural rule in the U.S. Senate. It limits what can be included in a budget reconciliation bill. That's why I remember. It's from budget reconciliation. It increases the deficit outside the budget window. No, here it is. The reconciliation bills are special because they only require a simple majority in the Senate and cannot be filibustered. I think that was the whole point of the bird rule. So they could, because they remember all those fucking battles whenever we were thinking about, or government shutdowns like happened all the fucking time because Republicans would just be like, well, shut down the fucking government.
Right.
I think that's what was the point of the bird rule, is to, all we need is 51 votes and we can get this fucking budget bill passed to fund the government.
Wasn't he a racist? Like a super racist?
Bird? I don't know. He's a Democrat from West Virginia.
Oh, is he a Democrat?
Dude, that doesn't mean he's not racist.
No, I know. He's probably one of those old Dixiecrats.
I put, ChatGPT sucks, but sometimes funny as hell. I just put Robert Byrd racist, and not even question mark, and it said yes. Robert Byrd, the longest serving senator from West Virginia, was openly racist in his early life and a member of the KKK in the 40s.
Okay, that's what
so
yeah.
I didn't know that. That's not, fucking piece of shit. All right, so let's see what DeepSeek, what did he say? What did they say? They, I don't know what his pronouns are. DeepSeek broke it down, gave me a table of contents, Title 1 or Section 1, energy, Section 2, natural resource, Section 3, permitting reform. Energy repeals restriction of oil and gas leasing. So that goes into the BLM, selling government land for drilling gas, because we got to do that, man. Drill, baby, drill. Was that Sarah Palin? Drill, baby, drill?
Yeah.
Rescinding Biden's withdrawal of offshore and Arctic leases. Got to drill in the Gulf. Got to drill in Alaska. Don't know what to tell you. Prohibiting restrictions on LNG imports, liquefied natural gas. Okay, or exports. Okay, so we're going to be selling that oil, and streamlining energy infrastructure approvals. So no bureaucracy when we start drilling. Repeal of the Superfund tax on crude oil. Eliminates the 0.7 cents a barrel excise tax on domestic crude oil imposed by the IRA, not the good IRA. So that whole section was just about. So okay, ChatGPT or DeepSeek believes 1/3 of what's important to tell me about this bill is we're going to be drilling for oil. Mining reform accelerates permitting for critical mineral mines. So cobalt, lithium, limits judicial challenges and delaying mining projects. You know, this kind of sounds like the abundance agenda. So I don't know what the fuck Ezra and them are so mad about, right?
Oh boy.
Is it? Hey,
Nah.
cut the red tape, man. Got to get that lithium. Did you see Gavin Newsom said he's adopted the abundance agenda?
They've all adopted the abundance.
Well, I mean, that was what he was hoping, but the Democrats apparently, I didn't know they just were like, yes.
Oh yeah, this is their thing now.
Jesus Christ. God damn it, Ezra. This is why it was important we talked about it. Motherfucker.
Yeah, this is basically what they're adopting so they don't have to move to the left.
Yeah, and that was the whole point of it. Thanks, Ezra.
Yep.
Piece of shit. All right, forest management and logging expands timber harvesting, exempts certain forest projects from lengthy environmental reviews. Dude. So I guess Ezra's the abundance thing is just for housing, cut the red tape, but keep the red tape for everything else, like environmental stuff. That's probably why he's against this.
I mean, he would argue that where it makes sense, get rid of the regulations. You know, in fact, like, Zoran
Mamdani, baby,
won the mayoral Democratic nomination.
That's what I'm talking about. Fuck Cuomo.
And one of the things he was running on was making it easier for like small businesses to get permits. And I saw one of the abundance people, I don't know if it was Derek Thompson or Ezra, I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been some other person who likes abundance, was like, oh, look, this is the abundance agenda here, because he wants to make it easier for small businesses to get permits. And
you know what? Sure, bro. Yeah. Go ahead. You want to call it that, Ezra? Go ahead.
So I don't know if Ezra said that, but
I
mean, that's what they would argue. Like, where it makes sense to get rid of regulations, let's get rid of regulations. The thing is, they're not very specific, and they have no critique of power. That's most of the criticism about the abundance agenda. Like, fine, if you guys want to get rid of regulations that help working class people, nobody's going to argue against that. But the problem with the abundance agenda is that it doesn't criticize power, and to certain extents, to whatever extent that people in power use these regulations to help themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So they'd argue that these regulations are a problem, but a lot of times it's the actual people in power who have put these regulations in place to help themselves, that benefit their own business interests or whatever. To make other, maybe small businesses less competitive or whatever it might be. Or maybe they don't want a house built next,
NIMBY.
Yeah, exactly.
Not my backyard shit, yeah.
So, again, fine. If you want to make the argument that, deregulating some things is going to help, working class people, all right. But you have to also articulate who, who's on the other side of that issue. Why these regulations are there in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
and why they're so hard to get rid of.
Exactly.
And it's not because, poor people or working class people have a problem with it, obviously. But yeah, that's
but the other
main
half
issue.
of it is you do that, and then you have an abundance of how, because the word abundance is like, then you have an abundance of something that you can run on, right? Like as far as a political campaign.
Yeah, I was never really clear what the.
I'm pretty sure that was the idea. Is like his
Yeah.
whole idea is how are the Democrats going to run again, because they obviously can't, because they're losing to these fucking dumbass Republicans. But we can't run on leftist policies, because absolutely not. I'm a New York Times liberal. So my idea is, why don't we just do good, use the government to just give abundance to people, and then they'll be like, oh, government good. I feel like that was the pitch. And like this, that's what Trump's doing. I'm cutting the red tape to drill, to give people an abundance of oil. Bada bing, bada boom. But I know he would say, no, of course not. Those regulations are there for environmental, just like what you said. And yes, of course, Mamdani, I love Mamdani. That's a great thing to run on. But like, I don't think of that as like an abundance thing. That's like common sense shit. It's like you said, it's like who benefits it? It's a critique of power. Like these rules and regulations here in New York to restrict the housing that we need is because someone's benefiting off of it. But like, he's not saying, I don't know. I just hate the abundance agenda. I'm gonna move on. This third section from DeepSeek. Permitting reform, NEPA streamlining sets a 2-year deadline for major project environmental reviews. Limits loss. All of this is about. So DeepSeek only gave a fuck about that out of the whole bill, apparently. That's interesting. And then it goes to additional provisions. Prohibits bans on fracking. Requires the U.S. to rejoin the Paris Climate Agreement. Wait, what?
Really? Nah, I can't be right.
Is DeepSeek just dumb?
I think DeepSeek's lying to you.
Hold on.
China's
this
trying to
is
influence
some propaganda right here, bro. Holy shit! I'm gonna get I'm gonna copy.
China's
paste.
got some wishful thinking going on, and it's AI.
They're gonna get back on that Paris deal, even though I just told you all the things that they're doing that seem like would be the opposite of that.
Yeah, no way that's possible.
Hold on. Here, vamp real quick. Vamp. I'm gonna copy paste the whole text and see if we can do it. You remember what vamp means, right?
Yeah, but I'm not vamping. We'll just have to cut it out.
Fuck that. Jesus Christ. This text is huge. Isn't this bill like 1,100 pages? 1,160 or some shit like that?
I don't know. I didn't see how long it is, but usually these bills are all big. But this is the one big beautiful one, so it's got to be bigger than the rest of them. Yeah. The rest of the bills, I guess.
Remember when Republicans used to be like, "Oh, it's too much." What was it called? Pork.
Yeah.
Pork spending bills are too big.
Pork barrel
shit. Yeah. Nah, not this one though. This one's cool. All right, I'm gonna paste all of that, and I'm just gonna say, "Try again."
Saw Elon Musk is still not happy about this bill.
He's real pissed. Do you know why?
He's losing some subsidies, isn't he? Is for Tesla?
Oh, is that what it's about?
I don't know. Honestly, I didn't look into it in detail, but
I thought he was mad about the immigration visas because he uses a lot of H-1B workers.
Oh, it might be that too.
But I know Zuckerberg loves it.
Oh, Zuckerberg likes the one big beautiful bill?
Yeah, there's some provisions in there that benefit him specifically. Length limit reached. Yeah, fuck. See, and this is why I have to use ChatGPT, because DeepSeek just ain't there yet with this shit. That sucks.
Wait, what were you trying to do?
Just copy paste the whole text.
The whole bill?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
Sometimes I do that with ChatGPT because they can't read the article on the page. I just copy the whole fucking thing. I'm just going to ask it to give me a summary of the big, beautiful bill. This is great podcasting, guys. We're just fucking playing with AI. But I just want to do this one more time, or there's one last thing before I move on. Hold on. Did you know the name The actual name of the bill is the Lower Energy Costs Act.
What?
Hold on, that can't be right. No, it's not. It's the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Jesus Christ. That's so much worse. Dude, DeepSeek is fucking just off. God damn it. Can't be trusted either, DeepSeek. I wanted to trust the Chinese.
The current event stuff is not going to be.
I know. But yeah, that's why it was only focused on the energy shit. It just thinks that's what it is for some reason. Okay. All right. Well, ChatGPT wins this round. But I have something planned for the next episode that ChatGPT did terrible with, so we'll see. Moving on. Or anything else you want to say about this big beautiful bill?
No, I didn't look into it enough to
have
any strong opinions on it. I mean, I know it's awful.
I know for a fact it's awful. Yeah. And I don't know. You can be mad about that all you want, but I know this Republican Congress and this president, it's shit. What about this Alligator Alcatraz?
Yeah, I don't know much about that either. I mean,
It's
I've
on
been
our home
hearing.
turf.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing, and I guess they want to put a moat with the alligators around it. They really want to put.
No, they're just gonna build a fucking. Well, they've already done this. They're done. It exists, by the way.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy? This is like they just thought about this like what, a week ago, 2 weeks ago. It wasn't that long ago. What they built was some tents, and then like I saw a picture of it from ABC News. It's just a fucking tent, and then inside of the tent is some bunk beds that are in cages. It looks fucking terrible. But no, it's in the Everglades. It's like it's in the middle of the fucking swamp. So you try to escape, the gator's gonna get you. That's why that one bitch said, alligator lives matter. They're not gonna go hungry. There's 65 million meals or something. You didn't see that?
No, I didn't.
Was that Christy Nome?
Oh, the DHS girl?
Yeah.
Woman?
Pretty sure it was her. There's not even 65 million illegal immigrants.
Yeah, where'd she get that number from?
She just made that shit up. But this is what's really fucked up about this, and I'm about to send it to you now. Hold on. So, do you know history? Do you know Florida has a history with not Alligator Alcatraz, but using alligators as a punishment / deterrent? You ever heard of this?
No.
Back in the days of slavery.
Oh wait, yeah, well, yeah, I've heard. I think we talked about that at one point. Not on here, but yeah.
I don't know if we talked about it, because if we did, I smoke way too much. Because whenever I read this,
you do, for the record.
I know that, but like check what I just sent you. Did we talk about what I just sent you? Look at those pictures. All right, here's what it is. I'm gonna describe it for everybody. Oh, it's Laura Loomer. That was the bitch that said it.
Oh yeah, that freaky jigsaw looking bitch. Yeah, she's creepy.
Yeah, she's some piece of shit. She said, alligator lives matter. The good news is alligators are guaranteed at least 65 million meals if we get started now. Dumb bitch. And then somebody said the entire Latino population in the U.S. is 65 million. So that's all of them, even the natural born citizen, regardless. Then this other person said, reminder, white people used to feed enslaved black children in Florida to alligators as bait to fuel the industry. Alligator industry? No. Okay. I know what she means. Particularly if they were disabled in any way. The practice was so common, it was featured on stamps through the United States Postal Service and candy ads. Look at these fucking pictures, bro. Look at these stamps.
You didn't send me out unless I had to restart.
Oh, no. Shit, I'm tripping. I sent it to myself in fucking Signal. There you go. Oh. But yeah, this, I'll zoom in. This one stamp, it just says alligator bait, Florida, like it's a place. And then it's like some black babies sitting on a log. One of them's wearing a hat. Like it's a as a full grown person, but a baby. And then an alligator right there about to eat them. So that's a stamp from the United States Postal Service. And there's another one that says alligator bait, and there's a bunch of little black kids sitting on a tree with an alligator. And then the candy ad, well, not a candy ad. This one's for soap. It says whatever the name brand is blocked out. I can't see it because I don't have the actual tweet here. But the toilet and bath soap for the removal of discolorations. And then it's got a little black baby being chased by an alligator. So yeah, that's fucked up. So a history of that in Florida, using alligators as punishment, essentially.
Yeah, very awful. I remember hearing about that not too long ago.
Yeah,
for the first time. Every now and then I just hear an interesting fact about how racist this country is.
Yeah.
I've never heard before.
Yeah. You think you've heard them all.
Yeah.
That's why I remember whenever I walked out of the theater after watching Django, I remember telling Esteban, I was like, this should be shown in schools. Like, that was like one movie that really, like, I don't know, captured the fucking violence of it, I think.
Right.
And there was a lot of stuff they left out, but just the shit that they include, like the hot box.
Yeah.
Fucking, like, Jesus Christ, dude. And then Alaska. The governor's office, I don't know why they did this. The state said, I guess that was the governor's office. The state said in a statement aired on Fox News, we don't have alligators, but we have lots of bears. I'm not aware of any plans for an Alaska version of Alligator Alcatraz. Why would you say the fucking bear thing? So Alaska's like, hey, we got bears. You want to build bear Alcatraz? And apparently, I forgot about this. Trump, remember when Trump wanted to reopen the actual Alcatraz like a few weeks ago?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you remember when he said fucking he wants to fill it with sharks around it?
Is that what he said? No, I don't remember the details about it, but I just remember people saying like it would cost a lot of money to reopen it, and
yeah, and there's a reason they shut it down. You fucking dumbass. The actual, hold on, let me read the actual post. He said, God damn it. Because of the violence and criminality I have seen due to the open border policy of sleepy Joe Biden, in particular allowing millions of people into our country who shouldn't be here, I wanted something representative to show how we fight back, and then it happened. I saw a picture of Alcatraz, all caps, looking so foreboding, and I said, we're going to look into renovating and rebuilding the famous Alcatraz, all caps, prison, sitting high on the bay, surrounded by sharks. What a symbol it is, and will be, exclamation point. And apparently that was before he started adding, thanks for your attention to this matter, in all his posts, which I still don't I cannot comprehend what that is about. I do not get it. But yeah, sitting high on the bay, surrounded by sharks. They're fucking like cartoon villains, bro. Like, Gargamel has control of the government. This is fucking insane.
Nice
Smurf. I know what we'll do. We'll build a prison surrounded by sharks. Thanks. We'll build a prison surrounded by alligators. We'll build a prison surrounded by bears. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, again, he just likes branding. Like, somebody probably said something about Alcatraz at some point. He's like, man, that's a good idea. We should open that back up.
1000%.
Anything that sounds like cool. Or he thinks he's, or that he thinks sounds cool or tough. Yeah,
tough.
It's all about branding, theater. All he cares about, honestly.
That's why I think him and Vince McMahon are probably really fucking best friends behind the scenes. Because that's all his. I still don't. Have you seen the Vince McMahon documentary? It's pretty crazy.
No.
He got Me Too'd at the end, like while they were making it. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that.
But like, that was enough to make him just disappear from public life, because I feel like right now would be the time. If I'm Vince McMahon, I'm fucking like, I'm Elon Musk. Trump's gonna listen to you, bro. I don't know. I guess Linda McMahon running the Department of Education is enough.
He's got that's his in right there. He doesn't need to be in in the public.
But Vince McMahon loves the camera. That's what I don't understand. He kind of just disappeared. Anyway, that's weird. That's all I got about Alligator Alcatraz, except Pam Bondi's a bitch, and the way she talked about it, fucking hate her. I'm trying to look over the other stuff I got here. Will probably take a minute to talk about. It's about 30 minutes. We should probably take a break, unless there's anything else you want to talk about.
No, we can take a break.
All right, let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll hit some more stuff. Probably pull the Discord. And we back. All right, so now second half of the show, the fun half. Really, the whole episode's the fun half. But the Discord chat. This is where all the real ones are. I see you posted some shit called the ratchet effect, which is a great way to explain how politics has shifted. What's it called? The Overton window? You've heard of that? To the right. So we essentially have two main parties that are both right wing. Best case, you could call them center right. And how that happened? How did that happen? It's a picture of a ratchet. I don't know if anyone's used a ratchet strap before, but like you crank that shit. You can pull it tight and then crank it. And pulling it is the Republicans. They're pulling it to the right, and then the Democrats do the little ratchet, and they block it, and that's the movement back to the left, which is not really anything. It's just stop. And then they move it to the right a little bit more, and then Democrats stop it. And then we think, oh, that's them being left and moving things back to the left. But nothing ever goes back to the left, not in America.
Nope.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you never heard of the ratchet effect?
Never heard of that.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I saw it online for the first time probably a few years ago.
Okay.
And it just stuck with me. But yeah, I think it's a good way to, explain basically how our politics works. Is the Democratic Party acts as a it's really there to block the left, not to block the right.
Yeah.
And that's just
exactly.
We should always remember.
No matter how much the right tells you that the Democrats are some crazy leftist fucking whatever, bro. They're literally the opposite. That's why they're so mad at Mamdani. They do not fucking like anything to the left. That's why we talk about the abundance agenda. Why they're like, yes, we needed something like that. So there ain't no fucking way we're doing something like even Bernie, which is what we have to consider the left in America. But like, they're like, absolutely not. We're not going to use what he was running on, even though he was wildly successful doing it. Let's try this stupid abundance shit.
I hate it so much. And I hate all the people who are talking about it.
Yep.
Like I saw Richie. Do you know who Richie Torres is? He's a congressman for one of the New York districts, but I saw a video of him talking about, I just really love the abundance agenda. And he's like one of these APAC, like right wing
American Israel Political Action Conference.
Democrats. He hates basically anything that's on the left. And he's like one of the loudest voices for APAC. Anyway, but he was a big advocate. I saw a video of him talking about how much he loves the abundance agenda. Just all the worst people that you would expect to like the abundance agenda, like it. And that's how you know it's trash. Because all these people support it, and they're not progressives. So they understand that they can use it. Basically, it can be whatever anybody wants it to be. And that's what it's meant to be. That's why there's no criticism of power. It's meant to be a catch-all for whatever.
That's what I mean. Like, it's mostly about giving them something to use to run on. They need something.
And my understanding is that they started writing this book last year or maybe before. And I think they were hoping that Kamala would win. Or Biden at the time, probably.
From what I understand, they were hoping to get it done before the Democrats.
Yeah, I think I did hear that.
Like, not primary, but like had the convention.
Right.
Because Ezra early on was saying like, hey, maybe we should get Biden out of here. If the Democrats had any spine, they would get Biden out of here. because he's too old, essentially.
Yeah.
He's not going to win. And their whole thing was like, maybe if we give the Democrats like a playbook, then we can have somebody else.
Just a side note, I really hate this argument.
What?
That I've been hearing lately about people like Ezra Klein. I didn't hear him say that, but just going off what you just said, I think Jake Tapper wrote a book about how the cover up, about them covering up as Biden's, mental acuity issues.
Yeah.
He was clearly having these issues in 2020 in the primary.
When he ran, the first time.
He ran. And these people pretended like they didn't see it. And they shamed anybody who dared say that this man was not the same. I mean, he was never a great politician, let's be clear about that. But he was definitely not what he was during Obama's presidency.
No.
So now for these people to sort of like try to, I don't know, save their careers and credibility, say, oh, he should have stepped down. He shouldn't have been running in the first place. And y'all covered for him during the whole Democratic primary. So I just want to put that. I don't like any of those people who are saying that shit.
He should have been running because he beat Trump, and that was the most important thing at the time.
Yeah, and that's bullshit. That's
1,000% bullshit. Yeah,
and that's why I don't care about anything they have to say now, because like you guys are the reason he was in that position. You're gonna expect an old senile man to just give up power? Oh, yeah, okay.
I know I talk about the Ringer Network a lot because I listen to those podcasts. Bill Simmons, he was talking about this even, like, I don't know, last year, maybe like the year of the election, the year before it. He was like, man, there's talk about, we should get Biden out there, get somebody else in. But, if I was Biden, I don't want to give up that. Or no, he said, if I was Biden's wife, she's going to be in his ear like, no, you can do it, Joe, because I want to be the first lady. And like everybody in his inner circle is gonna be like, nah, you can do it because they personally benefit from it. And Bill Simmons is not someone to get your politics from, but like I was like, yeah, I bet everybody was in Biden's ear, like, yeah, you can do it, bro, because they personally benefit.
Yeah, for sure, no doubt. I mean, I'm sure there was some of that going on, but also Biden was in his own ear. This man, have you ever tried to tell an old person
he's not going to listen to
they
anybody.
Can't drive the car anymore?
He's not going to listen to anybody, but it may be his wife. And if she's like, no, I don't want you to give up power, then ain't nobody fucking going to convince him otherwise.
No, I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of that going on. But
also, it's not his fucking decision to make.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of having a party. Yeah.
Well, clearly it was until it wasn't. So.
But the Democrats are notorious for you waited your turn type shit. And he was vice president, yada, yada, yada. It's his turn. Same thing with Hillary Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
Except the first time. The first time they were like,
what, Obama, just to be clear, it wasn't his turn. In fact.
Usually it's the vice president, right? After the fucking president, the vice president runs. It's his turn.
Yeah. But I mean, that's not why he ended up winning the primary. I mean, he ended up winning because
you vote for Biden, you ain't black.
Because Bernie was running and he was going to win, and they needed to coalesce around somebody, and it just ended up being Biden. They didn't want it to be Biden, but that was all that was left. Remember, he won South Carolina, and then that's when everybody was like, okay, well, I guess it's going to be Biden. We can't be Bernie, obviously.
Yeah, but I don't know. I thought the Democratic establishment was already behind Biden.
Nah. Remember, there were so many Democrats running. There was like 20 Democrats running. Kamala Harris, Warren, all those people were running. Buttigieg. The field was wide open.
Even whenever Clinton and Obama were running, how many was there? There's like 10.
In 2008, there was a lot. But when Hillary Clinton ran in 2016, there wasn't. It was like
true.
Bernie.
True.
That was a real coronation because everybody just sat out.
You're right. Okay. So, yeah, it wasn't the same.
Yeah. You had Lincoln Chafee.
God, Jesus Christ.
And who's that?
Remember
Jim
when
Webb.
Primaries used to be fun. Like I used to we used to know all these names.
Those you never heard from those people again. You didn't know who they were
before
whenever they
or
ran. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you never heard from those people again. That's who Hillary Clinton ran against in 2016.
Yeah.
And then Bernie Sanders obviously just happened to catch fire, and nobody saw that coming.
They could not allow that.
But yeah. Anyway, all these people are who want to try to say, "Oh, well, Biden should have stepped down."
Mhm.
Nah.
You
Biden
guys
shouldn't have
loved
been there
him.
in the first place, and it's y'all's fault he
Yep.
was there.
Yep.
You're to
I feel
blame
you.
too.
I feel you.
Anyway,
Have you heard about this? What's this guy's name? Fucking shit. All right, there's a rap group called Bob Villain.
yeah.
What's
The
that
Glastonbury
nigga's
guy.
Yeah.
Death to the idea.
Death to the IDF. Death to the IDF. He said, what did he say? I got a new chant. No, because before they were saying like, he said, free Palestine. Then he said, from the river to the sea. And then he said, I got a new chant.
Yeah.
Death to the
He said,
IDF.
have y'all heard this one?
Y'all heard this one? That shit was so fucking hard, bro. Between him and my homie from Kneecap,
yeah.
dog, I'm loving it. And so he's British, apparently. I've never heard of this group before.
Yeah, they're British. I never heard of none of them.
Glastonbury, I've heard of that festival. It's a major British music festival.
There's also another artist, Jade, who said some things about, I don't know, I can't remember what she said, but they had a couple artists who were like,
Bob Villain, Macklemore, Jade, and Kneecap, baby. That's our Mount Rushmore right now of rap artists. Did you see Dave Chappelle call out DJ Khaled the other day?
I did. I just saw the little quote about it. Yeah.
He was doing like a...
I wasn't sure if was that real. Did you verify?
The article, I can't remember. I read an article. I'm pretty sure it was from a legitimate source. I can't remember right now. This is media literacy, guys. You always got to check the source and know the biases when you read it. But when I read it, it seemed legit because there's a bunch of quotes from Chappelle. He was doing a stand-up special in Saudi Arabia. And yeah, essentially he was like, DJ, because somebody yelled out his name or something from the crowd. It was like an off-the-cuff thing. He's like, yeah, he's been mighty quiet about Palestine.
Somebody yelled out DJ Khaled's name?
Yeah, because
during a Chappelle's
because
set?
Chappelle made a joke about fucking like a rapper or something. Fuck. If you want to talk about something, vamp, I can pull it up. But yeah, he said some shit, and then somebody from the crowd mentioned DJ Khaled, and he was like, "Oh, DJ Khaled, he's been mighty quiet, fucking for a Palestinian person." Yeah.
Okay.
And then and then he said some other shit, and he said something about okay, I remember what he said. If I'm ever compromised and like I'm doing a stand up, I don't know, I'm out in the media, we need like a code word, something that I would say so you guys know, something that I would never say so you know, like, no, I don't mean the shit that I'm talking about. So if you ever hear me say, it wasn't like I support Israel or like, it was something like I support Israel.
Right.
Then you know.
Right.
Which was hilarious. So, love Dave. Fuck DJ Khaled. All these other people. I mean, I wish, I don't know who other, like, who's a conscious rapper you wish would speak on this shit? J. Cole's out. No Name, I haven't listened to her recently. I bet she has.
Yeah, for sure.
It'd be nice if Kendrick said something, but I don't think he ever will.
Nope.
JID, now would be a great time to separate yourself. If you really want to be the best rapper, say some shit about Palestine. I take some balls. I can't think of anybody else I would even care about.
Yeah.
We don't have nobody. Like, all the conscious rappers nowadays, I don't know. It's like fake.
Yeah, man, they suck now.
They're terrible. They don't know what to advocate for. They're so confused.
Yeah, man.
I blame Killer Mike.
Why Killer Mike?
Because he started on some like real activist type rap shit and then turned into the worst type of black capitalist piece of shit. And then I think that tricks people. And, you know, Jay-Z had that bar. I can't help the poor if I'm one of them, so I got rich and gave back. To me, that's the win-win. Like, shit like that. Like, hey, guys. And it's the same thing with the Diddy shit. Like, the rappers that are happy he got off, they boost. He's like, I hate to see a black mogul taken down. Who gives a fuck, Boosie? What the fuck you talking about?
Yeah, man, that's an issue in the black community, unfortunately. I mean, I get it. It's like, because everything black people have been through in America, we always like to elevate and, you know, we always like to appreciate black success.
Representation matters. And if you see a bunch of white rich people, you're going to want to see some rich black people too. Unless you go like the socialist Black Panther route and be like, fuck all rich people.
Yeah, unfortunately, man, I think celebrity culture's really got the black community in a chokehold. That's one of the
It's
things
got
that
fucking America in a chokehold, but yeah, specifically,
well,
yeah.
yeah, for sure. But in particular, black people's they are, we used to have a sort of revolutionary politics, and
Yeah, I remember like Pan Africanism was like a big thing in like the 90s.
yeah, you had like a lot of the artists were
Not just like Tribe Called Quest, but like there's a
I'm
bunch of
trying to think.
excuse me,
I'm forgetting names now. Was there like a
Brand
Nubian
Nubians.
Brand Nubians? Was that a group?
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's some other ones that I know.
I mean, I miss
I've heard.
Dead Prez was on some real shit. They weren't on
Far
Pan
Side. I
African.
don't know if they were
Far
on.
Side, they were kind of, yeah. But there was like an African like movement, almost like,
Yeah, there was a lot of them.
yeah,
Really into that
like
shit.
anti-colonial, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that don't exist no more.
But yeah, back to what I was saying about like black celebrities in particular. Even like when it comes to like my parents, they like my mom likes Tyler Perry. I get it. Like he does movies and stuff. I mean, now he's kind of caught up in the scandal. I haven't
Tyler
seen.
Perry's hilarious. Yeah,
I don't know
I
if
heard
he's.
about that scandal.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with that.
He's getting
but
me too because I think I don't say he did a diddy, but he fucking sexually harassed a man. I'm pretty sure is what it is.
allegedly.
Allegedly, but that's part of the thing because isn't I didn't know he was married to a
Well,
woman.
he's not married.
Or it's
I think we talked about this
in
a little bit last time. He's not actually married.
okay. He's in a relationship with a woman.
He was. I don't know if he was at the time or not. I'm not sure.
I just thought he was gay. Like I never. So like I think that's part of this is people like, oh, it's a man.
I don't think anybody was surprised. No.
Okay, because I was like, I thought we already knew. Okay.
I mean, I assumed, frankly.
Yeah.
And I think most people kind of assume that if he
he's not British.
wasn't gay,
You're not British
that he's
and
in
you dress up
he's
as
in
a
a
woman
closet
that
or,
much.
or
Yeah.
something. But it's whatever. Nobody really cares anymore.
About
That's
that
the
part.
thing. Yeah.
But well, the black community does. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's a still
I mean,
heavy
if there's
homophobia.
yeah, there is. And actually, if there's one thing
What?
that can get black people not to like really fuck with you, like older black people, I should say, it's like that you're gay,
Yep.
or especially if you're with a white dude, forget about it.
Fuck out of here.
So yeah, but anyway, I just think it's unfortunate that celebrity culture has influences black thought so much,
And it's crazy because celebrity culture and popular culture is fueled by the black culture so much.
Yeah, and I don't think that's by accident either. I think a lot of these people get elevated to power because they're they're not gonna challenge power.
That's so wild. Van said the exact same thing to me when we were talking about this.
What's that?
He thinks that like the people that are allowed to become successful are allowed to because they're not going to ruffle feathers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That shouldn't surprise anybody. That's the way the system works. I mean, the system's not gonna create people who are gonna undermine it.
But see, I don't know how much the system creates fucking people because I know there's this pervasive idea. Like there's what do they call it? Like the industry made this artist. Like what do they call that?
Yeah. I'm not trying to say like these people aren't talented and don't chart their own paths. Like
jumps on to these people's popularity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like Jay-Z obviously has talent, was a real hustler in the street, and he made a lot of business moves. What I'm saying is, if you want to get to that status, you gotta go along and get along at some point. Like like you're not going to be able to say like, I want to overthrow the government and be a billionaire. But do you think it's a
conversation like that? You need to get around, or do you think it's more like, hey, you know what? It's nice to be rich.
It's nice to be rich.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of unsaid things. I'm sure it's like, look, if
rich people are job creators, like all these fucking propaganda things.
It's not even that. It's
prosperity gospel.
It's like, look, you want to move into the nice neighborhood? All right. You want to send your kids to the nice school with the white people in power. You want to get into these rooms. You want to make these deals. You know what
You're
you
not
got
gonna
to
get
say.
into the rooms if
Yeah.
you're a fucking
You know what you got to say. You know what you got to do to get there. You know, everybody's been in those positions, even at, like on a smaller scale, just like when you're at work
Absolutely.
politics.
Yes, sir.
You know, people. Everybody's had a manager or somebody above them that's not qualified to be a manager, doesn't do shit on their job, doesn't know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They got there because they played the game. They did the right thing. They said
Mm-hmm.
it. You know, they shook the right hands, and it's the same way with a lot of celebrities. I feel like.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. For sure. But yeah, I just saw that in our Discord chat, and I wanted to mention that artists have these fucking platforms, and like, come on, guys, this is a fucking genocide. This it's never in my lifetime been more like safe to be like, fuck Israel. You got people like fucking Joe Rogan. God, I hate this motherfucker. But today, read some shit about Joe Rogan. Apparently, on his recent podcast, he was talking about ICE is going overboard, and like, I can't believe all this shit is happening with ICE. And like, dude, you knew the whole. How are you surprised? But like, he was like, he mentioned this girl from, I can't remember what school. I'm trying to remember, but she got deported because she wrote in her student newspaper an op-ed that was critical of Israel. And Joe Rogan was like, oh, that's all you gotta do, just write something that's critical of Israel? That's crazy. Like, yeah, bro, what the fuck? But so if even he is like, we're at a point in time where the culture is like, maybe it's okay. Candace Owens can't fucking, for some reason, my brother Van loves Candace Owens. Keeps showing me Candace Owens clips.
That's unfortunate.
I know. I make it clear.
You working on it?
God, you know I'm fucking working. I hate that bitch. He knows it. And every time but here's the thing, he's showing me shit about her talking about this Israel-Palestinian conflict.
Yeah.
And she's just talking about like AIPAC, and she's talking about like the Jew. God, I hate the way she does, because she talks about it like it's Jewish people instead of Zionists. That's why I made sure I highlighted to Van. I was like, hey man, every time she talks about Jewish people, just think Zionists, because like that's the way she should be saying it. Right. Zionists, fuck them. Not all Jews are, but like, because she's right wing, like that's that fine line. She knows part of her audience don't like fucking Jews.
Absolutely.
So she knows she ain't fucking dumb. That's what I hate about her. She got in the ear of Kanye. So like all this, anyways, I'm just saying, even on the right wing right now, it's becoming cool or okay to criticize Israel.
Absolutely.
It's never been like that before.
Yeah.
So rappers, where the fuck are y'all at? Yeah,
it's sad.
It's crazy. I'm disappointed. I have a lot of fucking revolutionary shit coming, just so y'all know. Anyways,
stay tuned.
Yeah. But yeah, moving on from that. What else do you want to talk about? What do you see?
I wasn't even really looking, but I think we should maybe talk about Zoran a little bit. I mean, we kind of touched on him a little bit, but
Mamdani?
Yeah,
absolutely. Let's talk about my man. What do you know about him?
Well, of course, he won this mayoral race for as the Democratic nominee, ran against Cuomo. Let me just say how crazy it is
that Cuomo was still the
guy he was running against. What I mean, if you don't have anybody else to run against, a democratic socialist,
nobody that they can trust that won't be leftist.
Like, you had nobody. Man, that's a indictment on the Democratic Party that they ran Cuomo. Somebody who was.
It's the same indictment for them running Biden, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Good point. Jesus. I mean, this man was disgraced for, he had like, how many sexual
Bro, he got
allegations against him?
For the Democrats who are all about Me Too shit too. Like, you'd think they would.
I mean, he got forced to step down. They Christian Gillibrand, she was like one of the big like Me Too senators.
That's what I mean. So, but now they're like, well, fuck, who? That's all we got.
Yeah. That's pretty sad. So anyway, I think it's just crazy that they leaned on Cuomo to run against him, and then of course that didn't work out.
I mean, look, man, it's brand name recognition. People know fucking Cuomo in New York. And New York is one of those cities that I was surprised, but I wasn't like, I'm like, oh, I can't believe it happened there. I'm glad that New Yorkers are finally like, fuck it, yeah, we're gonna get down, because look, whoever wins the Democratic primary is gonna win the mayoral election, right? Like, ain't no way a fucking Republican.
Well, that remains to be seen.
I mean, Cuomo's running as an independent. But
yeah. Well, yeah.
if he ain't win the prime, I mean, I guess split the vote type shit.
Yeah, and I think Eric Adams is gonna run again as an independent
Oh
or a
my God,
Republican.
dude. What the fuck?
Yo, it's a shit show, but that might be a good thing, because he would split the vote. He would take some from Cuomo. Yeah, if he runs. But yeah, I'm not sure.
But like, I think that's why there's such a reaction to Mamdani, and like even Trump. The Republicans are looking in how to deport this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, because they do not want New York, baby, major fucking city, like, to have a socialist, openly social. Like, it's okay if you have somebody on the fucking, I don't know, government board in Seattle, whatever.
Right.
Y'all just crazy out there. Not in New York. Like, this, and because he won the primary, they're like, well, fuck, it's Democratic New York. Like, he's going to win. So everyone's kind of assuming this guy is going to win. That's why there's all this shit. Like, who's this guy? Like, fuck. Yeah. He's about to be the mayor of New York, apparently. So, I don't know. I think it's his to lose, unless, I don't know what the Democrats, I guess they could self-sabotage him, but.
Yeah, they're going to try some. They're going to try something. Yeah. It's not over yet. They're not going to just let him.
Absolutely not. They don't want this fucking man, because, again, he becomes the example. Then what?
Well, that remains to be seen. Now, you know what his platform is, what he's running on? Have you heard any of his?
I know I have, and I can't remember now. I know, like you said, the housing thing. I know it's a lot of public transit stuff.
Yeah, he wants to make buses free and fast.
Yes, sir.
That's one thing I've heard him say like a dozen times.
Hell yeah.
He wants to do a rent freeze.
Rent control, absolutely. With that.
And then what else did I hear?
Fuck a landlord.
Municipal grocery stores.
What does that mean?
Like city-owned grocery stores.
Huh.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, that is a thing. And actually they exist in like red states as well. People
never even heard
were mentioning that. Like Kansas has them. I think we have them in Florida as well. There's a few.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But I think they're usually like they're more.
So what is that, to like combat food deserts and type shit?
Yeah, exactly. Food deserts, and try to like lower prices a little bit.
Okay. Oh, true. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think like even like some of the red states where there's like rural areas where they, maybe corporate grocery stores don't want to open up because it's not profitable enough for them. There's like municipal grocery stores. So that's a thing that even exists in red states.
Interesting.
But he wants to do it in New York City. And of course, like, I've seen clips on like MSNBC or CNN, whatever. Like, you want to do government-owned grocery stores? The way they ask him, they frame it in a way like it's something that's never been done.
Bro, like, see, this is I'm pretty far left. I didn't know this is a thing. Baldwin, Florida has one.
Yeah, I remember seeing this a few years ago. I knew Florida had one. There was an article I read.
By definition, a collectively owned government-run enterprise like the Baldwin Market is inherently socialist, says the Washington Post's blah, 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 whoever that is. Huh. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's okay. This is, the Republicans, I don't want to say they're freaking out, but, like, they're using this for sure to fuel their propaganda machine. Like, look, guys, socialism's here in America type shit.
Yeah.
And I hope so. God, I hope so.
Yeah, again, that remains to be seen. Like, one of the problems with being a mayor is all these policies would have to be approved by the state. So he can't pass them in the city by himself. He also wants to do some tax increases, to fund these programs. Those tax increases would have to be approved by the governor. Huh. And she's already said, Hochul, that she is not going to approve any tax increases. So his agenda may be dead on arrival, depending on what.
But it would highlight who is killing it.
Yes. So that's what I'm interested to see, how that fight plays out if he makes it, if he actually becomes the mayor. Because at some point, he's getting a lot of notoriety right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's playing nice. You know, all of his media appearances, he's smiling. He's very affable. He says he wants to be
putting on a good face.
The mayor for everybody in New York.
Yeah.
They're asking him about, oh, how are you gonna get along with so and so? He's like, I'm willing to work with anybody. Blah blah blah.
Love it. Love to hear.
However, if you actually want to get this agenda through, you're gonna have to fight. And this nice guy thing is not gonna work. Because they don't care how nice you are whenever you're taking money out of their pockets.
Well, it's two different things. Like, it's you put on the nice guy face because you're trying to appeal broadly. But that's like exactly what you just said that's the whole fucking problem. And that's the problem that the Republicans have solved. And they figured out with Lee Atwater. Fuck trying to do the general appeal. Appeal to your people and fight for your shit. And Democrats just refuse to do it. Hopefully Mamdani doesn't fall into the same AOC trap where I talk a lot of good shit and then I get in office and
see,
then
that's what I'm a little worried about.
Oh no.
That's what I'm concerned
Sorry,
about.
my hands are tied. Oh no. Let me make a TikTok about it.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty disillusioned after AOC and Bernie, frankly.
Welcome to Disillusion Island. It's glad to have you here.
Bernie should have been a lot better on some of the issues that he capitulated on. He didn't really campaign against Biden in the fashion that I wanted him to. He was much too friendly, kept hugging him, saying, "This is my friend Joe." I don't think that works, bro. Like, you got to make these distinctions need to be clear. Who are you fighting for? I get like putting on a nice face to be like,
I also
like
get
a
the
broad
strategy. Like, I want to do that because the opposite is fascism. So, I've already lost. I got to throw my shit in behind Joe Biden. But
no. I'm talking about before any of that shit.
Well, he knew like there was a possibility he was going to have to do that. He can't believe.
Well, yeah. But
you gotta draw a line in the sand and stand on your shit. And if you do that, then later on, if you're like, well, fuck, I'd rather Biden than Trump. All right, guys, everything I said about Biden, fuck it, forget it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I think it was a shitty strategy.
I agree.
And
I'm just saying, I think that was the strategy.
I mean, sure. I mean, I don't know what was in his heart. He was much more aggressive when he ran against Hillary Clinton.
Interesting. That's interesting.
I think he really didn't like Hillary Clinton. I think he really likes Joe Biden.
Yeah, you might be right, man. I don't. That's the thing about Joe. People seem to like the fucking dude for some reason.
Yeah, he's just like, I think it's because he's dumb. And it's like hard to not like, or like they hate dumb people.
You know what I mean? I feel you. Everyone's like, you're like, fucking Joe, come on.
It's just Joe.
It's fucking Joe's here.
He's harmless.
Exactly. Harmless Joe. If Bernie was going to be Trump, give him a nickname, it'd be Harmless Joe.
Yeah, I don't know. He just gives me that kind of vibe. I shouldn't say he's dumb, but you know what I mean.
I'll say it. I will fucking put my, like, he's fucking dumb. A lot of, guys, a lot of people are fucking dumb. A lot of people in your life, your doctor, your fucking lawyer, your whatever, work in tech support and see how they don't know how email signature works and refuse to. They're dumb. Fucking dumb.
All right,
nah,
let's
bro.
not go on a tangent about tech
Ben Carson
and
can
emails.
split. That's my favorite go-to.
I know you love talking about
Fuck Ben
his
Carson.
gifted hands.
You can't fucking split Siamese twins and also believe that the pyramids are built for grain. You're fucking dumb. Like, you can specialize in something. You're not a smart person. Joe Biden specialized in handshaking and fucking being everybody's buddy. Like, he's fucking dumb.
Yeah, I don't think he's dumb.
The guy that built the Titan sub, he was from Princeton, got a degree in whatever. His grades are like F and C. You should watch those documentaries. He's fucking dumb. These people are fucking dumb.
You know, Einstein failed math. All right.
Okay, bro. Michael Jordan got cut from his team too.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Like, man.
But I'm just saying, I think we have an illusion that people, like, in, I don't know, just regular jobs of responsibility are smart. We assume they're smart because they got there.
I will. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think we assume that a lot of people are smarter than us.
He's got a title. He must be smart.
And they're not. People are, and that's what I mean. Really, is like most people aren't like any smarter than anybody else.
Yes, that's my point. Yes.
But yeah, back to
Fuck Joe Biden.
Yeah, but yeah, fuck Joe though. I mean, I don't know how dumb he is, but I know he's a terrible politician and voted for a bunch of terrible shit.
Good politician, just like a bad for the people politician.
Well, I think he's a bad
president, man. He was vice president and president. You served for how many years in the Senate?
He fell into that. He got lucky.
You just said that you had to shake hands and shit. Like we
That's
talk
how
about
he
the
got
artist. I know.
Well,
that's a skill. That's what he
yeah,
did.
I guess. Yeah.
Same with Donald Trump, man. The dude's a fucking retard. But when he ran the first time, people were saying everybody liked Donald. Remember, he had Democrats on it because in this room he would say whatever they wanted to hear.
But again,
that's
yes
their
and
skill.
no. That's yes, it is a skill. We're kind of getting sidetracked here.
Yeah, I mean,
but
what's the main track? I forgot what the main track.
We're talking about Mamdani.
Oh yeah,
I don't know how we got on Joe Biden. I already forgot.
It's the Democratic Party and how they fucking support people like Joe Biden. It was really Cuomo, and like I compared it, but like
yeah, I forgot how. Okay, anyway, I will say this about Joe Biden: his skill is that he is kind of like, dumb, but not dumb, but like he has affable. Like he's kind of like, I'm just Joe. That's his skill. To the extent that's a skill, I mean, I guess like.
Now you're making my argument.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's fucking dumb.
I mean, yeah. He's known. His thing was like, oh, he's the gaff guy. He's the gaff machine. Like he always puts his foot in his mouth.
He forced Obama to do gay marriage because he came out in support of gay marriage before Obama was ready because he fucking put his foot in the mouth. That type of shit, yeah.
And I'm not convinced that wasn't like
a plan.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But
that's the
that's
idea around Joe Biden.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just a reminder to the point, I don't think he's a good politician in the sense that he ran for president in the 80s.
Oh, did he? I didn't know about that.
Yeah, and he dropped out because he got caught for plagiarizing. He lied about like where he ranked in his class, his graduation class. He was like at the bottom half of the class, and he lied and said he was at the top. And then like in 2008 when he ran with Obama and Clinton in that class, he dropped out before Iowa, either before Iowa or right after Iowa.
2008, yeah. Okay.
Because he was polling like at 1%.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a senator from a small state, from Delaware.
Big tax state though.
And he was like, at the time, he was like the youngest senator. I think he was like 28 or 29 whenever he became a senator.
Jesus.
And
in like 1960.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And basically, just I don't know how he got the seat, but he got in there and just kind of hung out for 30 years. So
the Delaware thing kind of makes sense though, because that's a tax haven. A lot of companies put their shit there because Delaware gets
that's why they called him the senator from MBNA, which is a credit card company. Yeah, that was like a nickname.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how he, he's probably friendly to all the type of business interests.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's how he got in.
Exactly.
So what I was saying is like, yeah, I mean, he's not a good politician in my view. Like Obama is a good politician who's also awful. That's what when I think about exactly. Terrible person. Good politician.
Great politician, bro.
I wouldn't put Joe Biden in that category.
I'm just trying to think who else is a good politician. Like Obama is like the only one I can think of. Howard Dean before the beat. He's killing it.
Let me see. Who else would I put up there?
Yeah, like who you got?
Bill Clinton, of course.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I'll give him Bill. Bill for sure. Hillary just wasn't Bill.
Nah. I'm sure there's others that I'm not thinking about right now.
I don't know, man. Do like Chuck Schumer? Like Nancy Pelosi? Are these people good politicians because they've been in power so
Nancy
long?
Pelosi. I put Nancy Pelosi up there.
All right.
She's crafty.
Mitch McConnell. Motherfucker been around for a minute, dog.
Yeah.
He survived the Tea Party, all that shit.
Probably. It's probably fair to put him in there too.
He's a sneaky fucker.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a few of them.
All right.
Anyway. But last thing on Mamdani.
Yeah, Mamdani, back to him.
Yeah, we got way sidetracked there. But it's just gonna be interesting to see what he does here, because if he gets in power and then his agenda is blocked,
Then what do you do?
Then what do you do?
Yep.
And obviously, I'm not a big fan of the Democratic Party. I've pretty much given up on the Democratic Party as
you have a little
potential.
Bit of hope left. That's good.
As a vehicle for change. I just don't think that it's going to happen.
Right.
And it's going to be on people like Mamdani, who are still working within the party to make these contradictions clear. Either you're going to be like, okay, the reason I can't get my things done is because the Democratic Party, and this is the problem with our politics, or you're going to acquiesce and like play ball and like become a team player.
And be like AOC, man. Look, Republicans got control, so I don't know what to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's going to be very telling. If he doesn't take a more adversarial position towards the Democratic Party, I'm not going to be very supportive of him as a politician.
Yeah, absolutely. Same thing. Again, like Obama in 2008 talked a great game when he was running. AOC talked a pretty good game. But like, yeah, as soon as they are compromised to my eyes, yeah, fuck them. But like, so yeah, that's really the question. It seems like
you have to do, like when Bernie ran and he dropped out, like he said, I'm gonna be intact. I'm gonna really push the Biden administration. He didn't do that.
Did not.
He didn't do it. And then what happens is you lose credibility, because now that the Democrats are out of power, you want to bring up all these issues again that you care about, Medicare and raising the minimum wage, but you weren't saying these things loudly whenever Biden was in power because you didn't want to make him look bad.
Yep.
And,
which was Kamala's problem when she ran. She couldn't criticize him because that was her shit too.
Right. But also she doesn't believe in that shit.
I know. But yes, you're right.
Bernie is someone who actually has principled views. I believe that he actually believes these things.
He just primaries with them. But yes.
And whenever you don't when you're not consistent, like his whole movement and his whole identity was built around having these consistent views over time. And you undermine yourself whenever you don't actually, have these principled views, even when it's, with somebody, against somebody who you like Joe Biden. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Mamdani does if he gets into power, because he's going to have to be more antagonistic if he wants to get anything done as mayor.
He just want to get elected.
Yeah. Or if he just wants to get elected, then that's one thing. But if you want to actually change things, people are going to try to block you. We know that's going to happen, and you're going to have to call those people out. And you're going to have to depend on, grassroots movements and people actually coming out. And the only way that people are going to come out and mobilize around your movement and try to pressure these people is if you make it clear who they need to pressure.
Exactly. Right? They need to know.
Yeah. So that's going to be important to watch.
You need to direct that anger and angst. Yeah. I mean, it should be simple. It should be, look, you guys elected me. I ran on this, and I'm trying to do this. And the Democratic governor is stopping it, or the Democratic blah, blah, blah is stopping it.
Right.
Yeah. That's simple. Keep it very simple. I wanted to give you guys free buses. They won't let me. Right. Who is they? It's the Democrats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, again, I don't know. Like, New York is such a big city and so influential. Places like San Francisco and LA and Miami and whatever. If something like, I don't know, he gets some kind of grassroots support by being antagonistic, that could lead to like those other cities. Okay, shit. We can do this too.
That's what I'm saying. This is going to be very instructive for where we could potentially move forward. Like either, like to the extent that I believe in the Democratic Party can still be a vehicle for change. We're about to test that theory if he gets into power.
1,000%.
So we're about to see what happens. Either he's going to acquiesce and capitulate and become like a team player and a careerist, So he might be thinking, well, if I play nice, then I can run for senator, or
Then I'll really do something.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's either going to be that thinking, or it's going to be like, no, I'm going to get these free buses. I'm going to get this rent freeze done. And people are not going to like me.
And bro, if he does that again, like, because that's what we always talk about. We're the leaders. Like, we ain't got no leaders. Like, they don't necessarily have to be a politician, but like, just we need someone fucking fighting. We don't got no fighters. Nobody's fighting for shit. And if he does, whether or not, even if he's not successful, if he gets the people of New York behind him, that's gonna be huge.
I would rather him fail
1,000%
and be antagonistic. I would rather him be
1,000%. Like, that's the only move.
Yeah, I would rather him fail and be like, I tried, but they wouldn't let me do it.
And then they move me out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then my hope is that more people understand that the Democratic Party is the actual problem.
Right.
It's a barrier to change, and that we really start to form a more independent movement.
Yes. Or maybe fucking DSA. We need, I mean, they're the only national third party, right? That's leftist.
I mean, he's a DSA member. Mamdani is.
Yeah, so maybe he could fucking be like, fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there's PSL, there's the Green Party, there's other organizations.
PSL is national?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
But DSA is probably one of the bigger.
I'm giving up on the Green Party, but the Green Party might be a better, like you said. If we're just talking about a vehicle for change, they're already kind of in there.
Yeah, they got the infrastructure.
Yeah.
So that's why I was very hopeful about Cornel West running, because he had the name recognition.
Love Cornel, man.
You combine that with the Green Party's infrastructure, he had a real chance to make some noise, and he fumbled. So that was unfortunate.
Yeah, I remember there's a lot of bad decisions about that. Because he try to like run as an independent first, or then I don't. And
yeah,
it was kind
initially
of late when he switched to the Green Party. And
it wasn't that late. Initially he was gonna run with like the People's Party, which was like some party that was started after the Bernie movement.
Okay.
Kind of fizzled out, and I don't know. There were some issues with the person who started it, like some character issues, and then that's when people, I guess, convinced him that he should run as a Green.
Okay.
I think Chris Hedges actually was one of the guys who told him, Chris Hedges and Cornel West are close friends.
Mm-hmm.
It told him, hey, consider running as a Green, and then he switched to a Green. And then, like, he had some issues with the Green Party. They had some falling out, and he said, I'm just going to run on my own.
That happened, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's too bad. Yeah. Because, again, we just needed, how much is it, like 5%?
Yep, 5% for them to get federal funding.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, again, just goes to build infrastructure for a third party, which
exactly
you need. Yeah. All right. Well, Mamdani, man, I hope you fucking are real. You give me a little bit of hope right now.
Yeah, I'm really hoping to, man.
Everything I've seen of him has been good. So.
I've seen there's some old videos of him that have been circulating.
Rapping? You saw that?
I did see
My
that.
bad. Say what you're gonna say first.
Yeah, but also, this is a side note. This goes to what I was about to say anyway. But his dad is I don't know if you know this, is a very successful, a well-known academic who's written on like colonialism in Africa and stuff.
He's about to get deported, bro.
His middle name, Zoran Mamdani.
Kwame?
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. You know after who?
Kwame Ture. No, I know that's what he's named after, but I don't know who's the original Kwame.
Wait, who?
What's his name? The guy that changed his name to Kwame Ture?
Yeah.
What was his name before?
Stokely Carmichael?
Stokely Carmichael.
Yeah.
But he changed it to Kwame because of the person you're talking about, right?
Yeah, Kwame Nkrumah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's why he changed it to Kwame.
Okay.
Maybe.
Who's Kwame Nkrumah?
Kwame Nkrumah. We talked about Kwame Nkrumah before, but he was the first president of Ghana. When they got their independence. Anyway, that's who Mamdani is. His middle name. That's who he's named after.
He's named after him.
His dad named, of course, because
awesome.
He's a academic scholar of colonial Africa, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, look, he's got a lot of like progressive bona fides. I saw some old videos of him like talking about like we need to seize the means of production.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Love to hear that phrase.
And so clearly he's
Real
read
Marxist
some
shit.
Marx. And then like in this video also he's just like referring to himself as a socialist. He's not using democratic socialist.
No qualifier.
You know, yeah, this democratic socialist thing is like supposed to be like, oh, I think he's using it because it's more, you know.
Oh, he started using it now.
Yeah, because he is part of the DSA,
Democratic Socialists of America.
Yeah,
I guess, yeah.
But if I had to, I think he's more just like, again, people, you know, people on the left, what some people refer to as like the Lenin left, Marxist Leninists, or you know, have problems with tankies, have issues with this with sock dims.
Yes,
because they feel like they're kind of like more. They just want to reform the capitalist system instead of like overthrowing it. You know, et cetera,
hold on. I thought there was a difference between sock dims and democratic socialists. Like a democratic socialist is essentially just still a Democrat that wants some like welfare programs, whereas a social democrat is more like actual socialist that wants like.
Well, yeah, I think you got those backwards.
Is it? But hold on, isn't Democratic or Bernie ran as a democratic socialist because it's not more extreme than socialist Democrat, right? Or social democrat? I think it's backwards. All right, hold on, I'm gonna find out real quick. Let me find out.
So sock dims are just like, you know, when people think about sock dims, they're thinking about like Norway, social democracies. That's what it's short for.
Okay.
Democratic socialists. I mean, people who are on the left would say there's not really any real difference between the two, that they really are the same things. I don't know, frankly. I mean, I think a sock dim, you maybe could argue is a little bit more liberal, maybe a little bit more.
No, you're right. It's exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
The Nordic countries type shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Elizabeth Warren.
What about Elizabeth Warren?
Maybe that's what I was thinking. She was calling herself a social democrat, and people were like, "That's not a democratic socialist."
Yeah, that's kind of my point.
Okay, that's who it was. Okay, my bad.
So yeah, social democrats kind of seen as a more, even more liberal than a democratic socialist,
right?
And democratic socialist is seen as kind of more liberal than like just calling yourself a socialist or a communist or what have you. Because the reason people started using democratic socialists was to sort of disassociate from like Stalinism and
tyranny and authoritarianism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and of course, people who are on the Marxist left, Marxist Leninist left, etc., don't think you need to make that distinction.
Well, there was already like that's what anarchists are. I thought.
What?
The anarchists are the ones that are like heavy democracy, just like no like.
Official, decentralized.
Yeah, like government, like centralized regulation, but like everything is like super democracy. So like, if that's what you wanted to highlight, I don't understand why you just call yourself a fucking anarchist or anarcho-socialist.
Yeah,
but maybe it's just
there's so many different. That's why
I'm an anarcho-syndicalist, not really, but that's
so
what
much
Trotsky is.
Fighting.
I know, but that's why I just say Marxist. I'm a Marxist.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to
big umbrella.
Yeah. But anyway, so I've seen some older videos of him where he's talking about, he's just saying I'm a socialist and we need to seize the means of production. And just knowing that his dad named him after Kwame Nkrumah, who was definitely a socialist,
anti-colonialist.
Yeah, anti-colonialist. I think I have a sense that he's like kind of watering down his.
This is kind of a front.
Yeah, to try to be more palatable, but that could be a problem because I feel like that's kind of what Bernie has done as well. And now look at him.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you can water down your message, and then you end up becoming that.
You lose whatever like excitement you had, like the Bernie Bros or like anything that was like, oh hell yeah, finally this is something different. And I want to say this earlier. You said people say Bernie's consistent,
right?
But he was just on Joe Rogan again.
Yeah, I saw
Joe fucking was like, "You're so consistent with your message." so certain people, he is still that. Like that is still his brand.
Yeah.
He only lost the left. The people on the left, they're like, maybe. Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Yeah.
True.
So I don't know how many of the Bernie bros were actually leftists, essentially is what I'm saying. I don't know. Or how many of them were just Joe Rogan guys that don't vote. And they're like, oh cool.
Yeah. That's probably a mix. I mean, I think a lot of the Bernie bros were just, people who are disaffected, like liberals and Democrats who are like, I want change. And
Occupy Wall Street. Yep.
Yeah, this guy seems like he's principled and actually believes it. I mean, that's really what people care about. That's why people like Zoran is that, he seems authentic. He seems like he actually means what he's saying. And a lot of times people don't even care about the label. You can call yourself whatever if they think you're principled. I see comments like that all the time. It's like,
I know.
I don't agree with him, but at least if I feel like he's telling me the truth.
Jesus
you know what I mean?
I know. That's how we got here. That's how we went from I want to have.
That's why people voted for Trump.
I was gonna say that's why how we went from I want to have a beer with my president with George Bush to that's how we ended up with Trump.
Right.
Yeah. So. Which is fucking crazy because Trump he says every side of everything. He ain't got no principles. What the fuck? He just seems authentic because because
he's not polished.
That's a nasty question. I can't believe you asked me such a nasty question. All right, man. Well, fuck. We're about hour and 30-minute mark.
That's a good place to stop.
Any final? I mean, we didn't even fucking talk about Iran. Real quick, we bombed Iran. That was fucked up. Unbelievable. Can't believe it happened. Seems like Iran buckled and it's over. They bombed the Qatar base after telling us that they were going to bomb it. And Trump was like, they told us they were going to bomb it. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, I mean, well, if we're going to talk about it, you can't just bring it up at like...
No, that's it. I just say, I don't know. I don't know if we're waiting on Iran. Are they going to do anything? Probably not. I don't know. It seems like they're recouping. They're going to regather their shit and build a new nuclear factory. And they're not going to attack whatever targets are in the Middle East that they should be attacking right now. I mean, if I was them, I would be attacking.
Look, I originally said that they should just go all in. However,
now's the time, baby. Let's go.
I feel like they are not in the position to go to full out war. They got kind of caught with their pants down a little bit. They need air defenses. I guess the foreign minister actually just went to China. They might end up getting some. We'll see some with the JC-10s or I forget what they are. We talked about it with the what the Pakistanis used to against the India. Mm-hmm. They might get some of those jets, but I think they also bought some jets from Russia that haven't been delivered as well. They're kind
of busy.
Yeah, exactly. So I think for them, it's like you don't want to get into a full blown.
I get it. War right, I mean, their proxies are down.
I don't like the word proxies, just for the record.
Why?
Because they're not proxies.
I mean, kind of are. We talking about like Hezbollah and Houthis?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a greater war between Iran and Israel going on.
Well, I just think proxy. Guys. I don't like that word just because that's what the mainstream media uses to sort of portray Iran as this power that has its hands, and it's that's the greatest sponsor of terrorism, and all this. These are indigenous groups, the Houthis, Hezbollah. They were formed organically. They have their own leaderships. They're not they're independent. Do they work with Iran? Do they partner and cooperate with Iran? Yeah. Nobody calls Israel a proxy.
What are you talking about? That's all I call Israel is a proxy.
I'm just
saying.
You're talking
about the media? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But even so, Israel's not really a proxy. It's got its own leadership.
What's the definition of proxy? Because I thought the whole idea is there's a proxy war originally between us and the Soviet Union. Like North Korea's Soviet Union's proxy, South Korea's our proxy.
Yeah. I mean, look, in the most literal sense of the word, I think you can call them proxies if you want to just say that they are a medium.
I'm trying to zoom out and see the forest for the trees. What's really going on here? There's a larger
I just
war.
don't think it's helpful when you're trying
And it
to
kind of
distinguish
it
between
takes away from those people.
exactly.
Too. Yes,
It removes agency
Yes,
from these other groups.
that's true. You know what? All right, I'm with you. Fuck it. West Asia, no proxies.
But I think what Iran is doing right now is I think they're recalibrating. I think they want to look. They prove that they can hit Israel. And Israel, what I'm hearing,
Like,
what
really
I've heard from like people I listen to, like Pepe Escobar and others, is that Israel probably asked for this ceasefire because they were getting hit. Like nobody's seen Tel Aviv take shots like that.
No, it was wild, bro.
And Iran
it's
has
like a major city skyline to get hit with missiles like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Iran has a lot of missiles. My understanding is they were using mostly old missiles
used old ones first,
to flood the
Iron Dome.
Iron Dome and the other
slingshot
system.
Or whatever.
Yeah, David Sling.
Yeah, I think it was called David Sling. Yeah.
So I think they proved the point. Their point was, look, we can cause a lot of damage. If you guys want to escalate this war, just know what it's going to be. And I think the hitting the base in Qatar, even though they gave forewarning,
it was just letting them know.
Like, hey, we can do this. This is what it's going to look like if it escalates. I mean, you got to do those kind of things.
Oh, for sure.
It's basically like sticking your toe in the water a little bit. Like, this is what it looks like. Also,
the Western media portrayed it. Oh, they're saving face. But yeah, go ahead.
Right.
But it's really that. It's just so we're for real.
Yeah. Absolutely. And also I think as a PR thing, if to the extent I don't know how much they care about that, but I think they do want to make sure that it's understood that we're defending ourselves.
Yes.
Right.
This is retaliation.
Right. Because of course, this is crazy. Like after Israel started bombing Iran, you heard all these Western leaders like Keir Starmer, the head of the Labour government in the UK, the head of all these European governments, coming out and saying, "Oh, Israel has a right to defend itself," while it was bombing Iran.
Yeah, bro, got to defend itself. That's always. I mean, that's Israel's position in every single genocidal thing they do. We're just defending ourselves.
Which is, it's just so crazy that a country preemptively bombed another country, and you have all these Western leaders coming out saying, like, just reflexively almost, like Israel has a right to defend itself.
That's the talking.
That's not defense.
Nope. Sending settlers to go take over persons and kick people out of their homes, burn it down, and build new fucking settlements for your people is not defense.
Yeah. I mean,
everything they do. I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
too, but I'm just like, Israel operates from like, look, everything we do is the fact that nobody wants us to exist. So everything we do is us just defending our right to exist.
Yeah. Yes.
And the whole Western hegemony, that's the talking point. That's why we have to support Israel. Yeah, in church we tell you it's the other thing, but like in the media, it's because they're just trying to live. They're the only democracy in the Middle East. What are we gonna do? We gotta help them. They're just defending themselves. AIPAC is really good at that messaging.
Yes, they are really good. I don't know. I shouldn't say surprised, but some of the European governments have started to be critical of Israel and what it's doing. Well, yeah, they've been consistent, but even the French government, and I think the Labour government has said some negative things about how they're handling Gaza. So I thought maybe they'd be a little bit less,
right? Just toe the line immediately.
Yeah. They were just hopped on immediately. It's like, oh, it's defending itself. So anyway, I think Iran is, they're smart. I think they're trying to be tactical. We'll see what happens. They've made it clear that they can defend themselves. They can actually defend themselves. They have the missiles. They're supposed to be getting fighter jets soon. It's gonna remain to be seen. But they have a lot of cards left to play. It's basically what I'm getting at, and so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and we are still building up a little military presence over there. So I don't know if we're done. I don't know. All right, we spoke on Iran.
Yeah, we'll leave it there.
We'll leave it there. All right. Peace to everybody. Power to the people. Fuck colonialists. Let's go Kneecap and Bob Dylan or Vylon. Who's the best top 5 MCs? Vylon.
Is that how you pronounce it?
It's got like I'm assuming their name.
I haven't heard anybody say it, so
because Bob Dylan and I think it's Bob Villain, but that's what I'm assuming. But like I always say Dylan because of fucking Dylan the rapper.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to them, Macklemore, artists. Where y'all at? It's a fucking genocide. It's finally appropriate for you to say something. DJ Khaled, you're not gonna say shit. You should kill yourself. All right.
Damn.
Peace to everybody else. Power to the people.
Peace.
There's no way to be committed to nonviolence in the middle of the most violent society that history's ever created. I'm not committed to nonviolence in any way.
The Republican Party and the Democratic Party are beholden to the interests of monopoly capitalism in this country.
The capitalist European and North American powers have carved out and taken the timber, the flax, the hemp, the cocoa, the rum, the tin, the cotton, the iron, the rubber, the bauxite, the slaves, and the cheap labor. They have taken out of these countries. These countries are not underdeveloped, they're overexploited.
Liberals are, at times, allies. At times, they're unreliable allies. So I don't want to just whitewash them. You've got to proceed quite cautiously with liberals.
The man or woman who knows the least about communism is the man or woman who wants to know the least about communism. That is